everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets, and I wanted to share with you a couple cards that I've made over the past week. A lot of it's been focused around my sister. Today is actually her one-year wedding anniversary, and it's a little after 5:30, so we were just leaving the beach about this time last year. Her wedding was on the beach in Mexico, so such a difference between this year and last year. But I made her an anniversary card, and then Thursday is her birthday, and it's also her graduation from college. She has her undergrad degree, her master's degree. I believe she graduated twice with her master's, and now she's going back for her administrative degree. So she's graduating again. So my parents asked me to make a graduation card for her. So I haven't made one myself for her yet because I've been working on her birthday and anniversary card. But this is the card that I came up for my parents to give her. So the background is just, it's a 5x7 card base, and then there's a black piece of cardstock that's 1/8 of an inch smaller than that, and then behind that it's just a plain white piece of cardstock that's 1/8 of an inch smaller than the black piece. And I used this stamp set that I got from the dollar or two bin over at AC Moore, and it's just this congratulations, and I used some Memento Tuxedo black ink to ink up the congratulations stamp, and then just continued to write congratulations all the way across until I had a pattern background. So that's how I did that. And then the focal image is from this cartridge called Paper Doll Teen Scene. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. I haven't seen a lot of people do videos on it. I haven't seen much about this cartridge, but if you have the Everyday Paper Doll and Paper Doll Dress Up, this is a great addition to the collection. Those two are a little bit more cartoonish, whereas this one is a little bit older and it has a little bit more sophistication to it, a little bit more detail. So when I do things for kids, I use the Paper Doll and the Paper Doll Dress Up and the Everyday Paper Doll. But for teenagers and adults, I usually use this. So now that I have it. So I use the cutout from page 30. And the way it works is there's 3 girl dolls and 3 boy dolls. But unlike Paper Doll Dress Up and Everyday Paper Dolls, you can only use that doll's hair and accessories with that. I mean, you could always use the beach ball with this one if you wanted to, but the clothes have to be with the same doll, because if you look, you'll see that they're posed differently. This is still Chloe, and then this is the last girl. Her name's Molly. So you have Molly, Chloe, and Sarah. So I used Sarah, but the good thing about this is you can actually use the hair from a different dress. Like if your friend has like a long ponytail, they have one with a ponytail, one with long hair, one with braids, one with wavy hair. So my sister happens to have really long straight hair, so I used the hair from page 31, and this first cut right here is the hair. So I cut that at 6 inches in brown, and then when I went back up to here and I used the white layer right here, so that's the regular button with the shift, is just the whites of the eyes, and then this body cut right here is just the black parts of her eyes, and then the body shift is her skin color. So I did that. Those are all cut out at 6 inches, and then I cut out the wardrobe 2 at 6 inches, and that's the cap, the gown, and the shoes. I cut out the accessory 1 in white, that's the diploma, and the accessories 1 shift in red. And then I put it all together. It's pretty intuitive when you put the whole thing together. Just kind of line the pieces up and make sure that it works. The black and the white layer, I think I had them reversed at first, because I think they actually go opposite of the way you cut them out, but I'm not positive. I can't remember. It's been a couple days since I put the doll together. But if you do look, I don't know if you can see that real well, there's only eyes. There's no nose or mouth on that, and sometimes it kind of looks creepy. So what I did was, there was a YouTube video that I watched a while back, and I'm sorry I don't remember whose it was, but it shows you how to draw faces on the Everyday Paper Doll and the Paper Doll Dress Up ones. if you cut them out in the blackout or the shadow feature, it doesn't give you the eyes and the nose and the mouth on that one, because that one just cuts out 2 dots, a little nose, and like a smiley face line for their mouth. So this person showed you how to actually draw a face on there. So I used that and drew the nose and the mouth on, and then just took a red Secura gel pen and colored in the mouth. And then the black is done with the black Secura gel pen. And then I used some of the Studio G glitter glue, the red, just on the top of the on the diploma tie, just to make it stand out a little bit. And then I also ran some tea dye distress ink around the edges of the diploma to make it stand out from the back, because it was the same white cardstock. So that's her. I cut that out at 6 inches, put it all together. The inside's blank. So that's a 5x7 card that I'm going to give my parents to give to my sister for her graduation. So that's one card. The next card is one that I'm making. I'm going to make a couple more for the Operation Right Home. If you didn't see my video about Operation Right Home, it's just an organization where you can make cards for soldiers, and whenever they need a specific card, like a love you card, a miss you card, whatever, they request them. And then the 2 women who sort all the cards send boxes over to whatever country they are stationed in, and then they get to pick from the cards that we've made. So I thought that was a really cool thing to do. I really like giving back, so I came up with a couple designs. I think a couple videos ago I showed the designs that I made. This is a new one. Excuse me. And the way I did this one is, for the background here, the first 2 layers, I used these Nestabilities dies. I used this one with some red cardstock and this one with some white cardstock, and then just took some picked raspberry and inked around the edges. It's a Tim Holtz Distress ink color. And then I took this stamp that I found in the A.C. Moore dollar bin, the Smitten, inked it up with Memento Tuxedo Black ink, stamped it on the white layer, and then took some Studio G red glitter glue and filled in the heart. Now I know in the rules it says that you can't put any glitter on the cards. They mean glitter that if you go like this, it rubs off on your hands, because that makes them vulnerable, the soldiers vulnerable to night vision goggles. So I did this. This actually doesn't come off. So you see there's nothing on my finger. So that's okay to use. And then for the background, what I did was I took this Martha Stewart heart border punch and punched out some just red and pink scraps that I had lying around, put the 2 larger hearts together and the 2 smaller hearts together, and then just put them all over the card base. And I didn't want to put more on there, but it looked really, really empty. So what I did was I took this stamp set that I had, and I used this stamp and inked it up with some Colorbox red chalk ink, and I used this one and inked it up with some picked raspberry, and then just filled in the spaces in the background. So each one will look a little bit different because the background isn't actually patterned paper, it's just however, whatever fills in the space. So I'm going to make a couple more of these. The interior is blank, and with plenty of room for the soldiers to write to whoever they want to. And the one thing for Operation Home that you have to do is when you sign up, and if you want to, it's operationrighthome.org. You can sign up and right away for this stamp, because they ask you to stamp all of the backs of your cards with this. It comes unmounted and it doesn't have cling on the back of it. So what I did was I just took my Zig 2A pen, put some glue on the back of it, and stuck it to this stamp. I keep this block for my own business stamp, so I figured I'd just have the front as Operation Right Home. So I'm going to keep it on here. I could remove it if I wanted to, but I'm just going to keep it on this for now. So that's my Operation Right Home card. I'm going to make a couple more of those, and then a couple other designs, and then send those ones off. So the next one that I made is, I don't have any Get Well cards in my Etsy shop, so I wanted to make some, and I thought these were really cute. These bandages come from Nate's ABC's Cricut cartridge. If you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. And it comes from page 66, and this bandage goes on a hand. So I believe the dimensions for this, and I'm not exactly positive, but I believe since the Band-Aid's supposed to go on the hand, I pretended I cut the hand out at 5 inches, so you cut the Band-Aid out at 5 inches. You can also put this on real dial and then cut it out at a certain size. So then, or actually maybe I think I did that. I think I cut this out at 1.5 inches on real dial, because if I didn't, it would cut out really, really tiny because it's supposed to fit on this. If I cut this out at 1.5 inches, this would be really, really small. So I believe that's what I did. I did real dial, I think with 5 inches. And then this is supposed to go on this bandage that goes on this ouch saying. So I cut this out at 5 inches. I believe that's what I did. I'm not exactly positive. I'll have to double check. But I cut them out in coordinating colors, and then I took the bandages and ran them through the Swiss Dots Cuttlebug folder, just so they have that little band that, you know, looks like a real bandage. And then I have a Get Well Soon stamp that I want to put on there, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it on the front, but I think I want to put it on the inside. So I just have to do that before I take pictures and put it up on my Etsy site. But that's one of my Get Well cards. And then this card is a graduation card, and you've probably seen me use this teddy bear before. I think I showed you guys the video, some video of stuff that I made for my brother. He graduated from St. Joe's last year with his master's last May, and I finally got around to giving him his graduation present, which was a book full of pictures of him on graduation day. Yes, it did take me almost a whole year, and I felt really bad about it, but I had a ton of other things going on, so I could only work on it every so often. But to get back to what I was saying, I did make this teddy bear for him. And then, so it was so cute when I saw that I figured I'd do a graduation card in it. So I used the Teddy Bear Parade Cricut Light cartridge, and I cut the base bear out at 4 inches, and then I used this graduation one and cut out all the accessories at 4 inches as well. And I inked around his ears, his mouth, and even though you can't see it, his stomach with some tea-dye distress ink. Put the bear all together, and then this is a 4 by 5.5 inch card, so I put a piece of black cardstock with the same dimensions down on the back of it, and then took a piece of red cardstock that's 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card base, and ran it through the Cuttlebug with a Tim Holtz embossing folder, and it just has, you can see on it, it just has different clocks in the background. I thought that was pretty appropriate. And this sentiment comes from this graduation set that I have, and I can't remember who it's by, but this stamp right here, on your graduation day. And I inked it up with Color Box White Frost chalk ink, and then I used some of the fancy edge scissors that I have just to make a little border on the top and the bottom, and left the sides straight. So the inside is blank. And then the last new card that I made is this one that says, "Oh Happy Day." I used a Simon Says stamp, wafer thin die, this "Oh Happy Day." It cuts out each word individually. And if you watch my Michael's video, I did buy the C plate that I wasn't sure if I was going to get, so I did, and it's so much easier to use that than the shims. But if you have the shims and they work for you, you can keep using them. I had a little bit of a difficult time getting some of the words out of the die. So if you look on the back, you can see these little holes, and all you have to do is poke, use like a craft knife and X-Acto knife and poke through the holes, and the paper will come out nice and easy. So there's "Oh Happy Day." This is a 4 by 5.5 inch card as well, and the red cardstock is 1/8 of an inch, I believe it's 1/8 of an inch smaller than the card base. And then I used this stamp that I got from AC Moore, and I know that it says $2 and it's upside down. But last week AC Moore had a huge bin of stamps that were all marked down. Originally they were all $1, and they used to be, I think some of them were as expensive as $9.99, but everything was $1. So I picked up this and a couple other stamps that were really, really cute, and I used this one on here. I inked it up with Tuxedo Black Memento ink, this little guy, same one. And then I used my Spectrum Noir markers and just colored in the balloons. I didn't do any shading or anything like that. But I did use the Sakura gel pens, the ones with the glitter in them, to go over the black and the ribbon and over the confetti, and just to add a little bit of color to that. The background is, I used a deckled edge Nestabilities die on white cardstock, and then I inked up around the edges with some Stormy Sky Tim Holtz Distress ink. So, and then the interior is blank. So those were the cards that I've made recently, and I wanted to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!